of this class, we're going to look at vocabulary and grammar structures we can use to make comparisons. Let's start by looking at this bar chart. It shows us how many people subscribe in millions. So these numbers represent millions of people to different online video streaming services: Netflix, Disney, Hulu, and HBO. I'd like to know which of these sentences are true. There are 4 sentences. Please read them carefully and tell me in the chat box which sentences are true about this bar chart. Ten seconds, everybody. Which sentences are true? Okay, well, number 2 is true. More subscribers of Hulu than HBO. Yes, Hulu has more than HBO. This is true. Number 3, Disney is more popular than Hulu. Yes, Disney is close, but it's a little tiny bit higher than Hulu if we look carefully. Number 4 is also true. The number of subscribers of Netflix, Disney, and Hulu is more than HBO. Yes, HBO is the lowest. All of the others are higher, or they have more subscribers. So 2, 3, and 4 are true. Number 1 is not true. Disney has more subscribers than Netflix. That's not true. It's the other way around. Netflix has more subscribers than Disney. Let's look at the grammar in our sentences, everybody. Look at sentence number 1. It begins with the first thing we are comparing. We're comparing Disney. This could be X. Then we use a verb, has. We use more plus a noun, more or less plus a noun, and then we use than and the second thing we're comparing, than and why. So sentence number 1 uses structure C. Sentence number 1, structure C. I'd like you to look at sentence number 2, 3, and 4 and match to the correct structures, A, B, and D. Look carefully and type the correct matches of sentence and structure, please. Excellent, very good. 10 seconds quickly to check the structures. Okay, fantastic. Well done. Let's look together, everybody. Number 2 starts with there are. And here we can see B starts with there is or are. Then we've got more plus a noun, more or less and a noun, of and X, than and Y. So number 2 is structure B. Number 3 is structure A. We start with the first thing we want to compare. We use is, more, and an adjective. Is or are, more or less, and an adjective. Then we use than and the second thing we want to compare. Finally, number 4 is D. The number of subscribers of Netflix, noun of X, Disney and Hulu, is more than, is more than, and the second thing we're comparing, HBO. So we've got 4 different structures that use the words more and less. These are useful, important structures to remember. They help you make different types of comparisons. We will practice using this grammar in a couple of minutes, everybody. I will leave this on the screen now for 20 seconds so you can look, make notes, and try to remember these grammar structures. Okay, so the grammar structures are important, but we also need vocabulary for comparing. So let's talk about vocabulary. We often need for graphs and charts and tables to describe how much, the quantity, or the value of something. So we use vocabulary like 2 times, 25%, a fifth, half, or the same as. But we don't want to use the same words every time. We want to paraphrase and use different vocabulary. Remember, the examiner is looking for your range of vocabulary, so we need to use different words. Look at these words and match them to the words with the same meaning. For example, half is the same as 50%. Match the other vocabulary and type in the chat box, please. Okay, well done, guys. Well done. Yeah, 2 times is the same as double. 25% is the same as a quarter. A fifth is 20%. And the same as is a synonym for is equal to. Well done, everybody. So we've got useful vocabulary for describing quantities here. Sometimes we need to describe the difference between different things. Is it a big difference or a small difference? So we might use vocabulary like just over, nearly, roughly, a lot more than, or a bit. This vocabulary is also important if we do not have the exact numbers on the graph. Look at the purple vocabulary and match the synonyms, please. For example, just over is the same as slightly more than. Match the other vocabulary and type in the chat box. Okay, well done. Well done, everybody. Yeah. If something is nearly, it's very close. It's almost the same as something else. A has nearly as many subscribers as B. It's very, very close. Roughly means we don't know the number. It's approximate. And a synonym for roughly is about. It's about 25%. It's roughly 25%. A lot more than is a big difference. It's the same as well over. And a bit means a small amount. So we can use the adverb marginally. It's a bit higher than B. A is marginally higher than B. It means a small difference. So this kind of vocabulary is good when we do not know the exact numbers and we want to compare the difference between two things. Okay, let's practice our grammar and our vocabulary. Look at this pie chart, everybody. It shows us how much money different football teams spent buying new football players. And the different colours represent the different football teams. The numbers are the amount of money in millions. Let's look at sentence number 1 and choose the correct words. Manchester City spent over the amount of money on transfers as Tottenham. Which words here are the best words to complete sentence number 1? Type the best word in the chat box, please. Very good. Manchester City spent over double or 2 times the money of Tottenham. They spent more. We can't use half because this means less. Okay, what about number 2, everybody? Chelsea, which is the green colour, spent the most, the more, or the highest amount of money. Which word is best for this sentence? The correct answer here is the highest amount of money. We can't use more because this is not comparative. This is a superlative sentence. We're comparing one with everything else. And we can't use the most because we don't use the most with amount. The most already means amount. So we're repeating ourselves. We can say Chelsea spent the most money, but we can't say the most amount of money. It's saying the same thing twice. So the best one here is the highest amount of money. Number 3, there was less, fewer, or least money spent by Brighton than all the others. What is the best word for this sentence? Look carefully at the sentence and notice we're using than in our sentence. This is important for grammar. Sprachintov, very good. I like the word. Yeah. The correct answer here is less money. We are using a comparative sentence. Sentences with than are comparing two things. So here we use a comparative, less, not least. Least is superlative. And we cannot use fewer because fewer is for countable things. Fewer people, fewer pens, fewer cars. But less is for uncountable, less time. Number 4, everybody. Nearly the same, equal, or balanced. The best answer, please. Very good. Well done, guys. Nearly the same or nearly equal. Yeah, it's close to being the same or equal. We don't normally use the word balanced for this type of description. Finally, number 5. Tottenham spent about 75%, three quarters, or half less money than Chelsea. What is the best word to finish this sentence? Well done, guys. Well done. We can use 75% or three quarters. They are the same. 75%, three quarters are the same. Well done. Tottenham spent less, so we can't, it's not half because look at these numbers. These numbers, there's a big difference. It's more than half, it's 75%. Well done, everybody. These sentences are examples of our grammar structures and our vocabulary that we learned in this first half of the class. I'll give you 30 seconds now just to look at the different grammar structures, the different vocabulary here in these examples, and then we'll have a quick break. Okay, everybody, let's have a quick break. If anyone has a question, you can type a question in the chat box now, and I will answer a couple of questions. And I'm going to give you the link for the GEL IELTS courses website one more time. So if you joined this class later today, don't worry. You can find all the information about GEL IELTS by going to the website on the screen now. The link is in the chat box. We will be very happy to help you with your IELTS studies. GEL IELTS subscribers get access to our website. They can watch the pre-recorded video classes. They can do training, exam practice, and they can book tutorials with IELTS teachers as well. So check it out today, everybody. Abiha, do we need to write an overview before describing in detail? Abiha, yeah, that's true. So in writing task 1, you should always start with an introduction, which paraphrases the question. Then you have your second paragraph is an overview. The overview does not give any details. It just summarizes the main features, the most important things in the graph. Then you go to the body paragraphs and you give the details and you put your comparisons here in the body paragraphs. So yes, you're exactly correct. The overview is the second paragraph. Is as adjective as useful? Yeah, absolutely. We could say Netflix has as many subscribers as. So it's not just as adjective as, it's as, and we can have now many subscribers as. But yes, this structure with as and as is good for comparison. So yes, it's very useful. Mael, we use fewer when we're talking about countable things. For example, people, we can have one person, two people, three people. So we can have more people or fewer people. But for uncountable things like time and money, we cannot count them. We cannot have one money, two money. So we have more money or less money. Less is for uncountable, fewer is for countable. Okay, let's look at one more question. Okay, so Shakhtar, yeah, I see your question about using is or are. In that sentence, we're talking about Netflix, Disney, and Hulu as one object together. That's why we're using is. If it's a single object, we use is. We could also write it as three separate objects and use are. So in this sentence, both is and are correct. It depends on your perspective. Are you looking at these as three individual things or one thing altogether? It depends on your perspective. So both are correct. Okay, everybody, well done. Let's move on to the second of the class. If there's time, I will try to answer more questions at the end of the class. Okay, we also need to make comparisons by using linking words in our writing. This type of comparison. There are three important types. We can link adverbs to clauses. Here is an example. A clause is part of a sentence that has a subject and a verb. For example, A is the subject, has is the verb. A has a larger amount. This is a clause. It has a subject and a verb. The first part of the sentence is not a clause. There's no verb and no subject. This is just an adverb phrase. In comparison with B, A has a larger amount. In contrast to B, A has a larger amount. This is one way of linking together, linking adverbs to clauses. We can also link two clauses in the same sentence. For example, A has 200. One clause, it has a subject. B has 140. A second clause, it has a subject and a verb. They are both in the same sentence. So we can use linking words like while or whereas to join them together. A has 200 while B has 140. Linking two clauses in the same sentence. And finally, we can link two separate sentences using a linking word. For example, A has 200, full stop. This is the end of the sentence. New sentence, B has 140. These are not the same sentence, they are two separate sentences. So we need different linking words. We could use however. A has 200, however, B has 140. However can begin a new sentence, but it cannot go in the middle of a sentence. So however, while, and whereas are different types of linking words. Another example is this one. A has 200, B has 140. Separate sentences. We can use in comparison, B has 140. In contrast, B has 140. Notice this is different from the adverb to a clause. We do not use the prepositions when we are using them to link two sentences. Okay, so we've got linking adverbs to clauses, we've got linking to clauses, and we've got linking to sentences. Let's practice this, everybody. I'll give you 10 seconds to look at this page, and then we will practice. Okay, let's look at our bar chart again, everybody. The bar chart is the same bar chart. It shows us the number of subscribers for Netflix, Disney, Hulu, and HBO. Let's look at the three sentences, number one, number two, and number three. Each sentence has a space for a linking word. I would like you to read carefully and choose the correct linking word for each sentence. Type your answers in the chat box, please. Okay, well done, guys. Most of you did very, very well. The first one is linking two clauses in the same sentence. Netflix has over 600 million subscribers, the first clause. Disney has just under 30 million. Two clauses, same sentence. So here we need to use while, linking two clauses in the same sentence. Number two is two separate sentences. Disney and Hulu have approximately the same at about 30 million. Full stop. We finished the sentence. HBO only has around 10 million, a new sentence. So here we need to use however. It links two separate sentences. And finally, the last one is an adverb phrase. We have one clause and we have a noun. There's no verb and no subject here. So we need an adverb phrase. In comparison with HBO's 10 million, Netflix has over 60 million. So we've got more examples here, everybody, of the three different types of linking words, three different types of sentences you can use to make detailed comparisons. Well done, guys, well done. We need to talk about tables. We haven't talked about tables so far. Let's look at this table and read the exam question. The table shows the average consumption levels, yes. Per person per year, yes. In three different countries, yes. For meat, alcohol, and coffee, yes. Remember, the question will always tell you what is in the table or the graph. So always read the question and look at the graph or table together at the same time. These are the instructions. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Remember, the instructions always ask you to make comparisons where relevant. Can we make comparisons using this table? Yes or no? Is it possible to make comparisons? Yes, it is, everybody. Yeah. In tables, we do not have change over time. So comparisons is the most important thing. We need to compare the countries or compare the products as well. Look at these three comparisons. Which are good comparisons to make? Which ones are good comparisons to make? Tell me the numbers of the good comparisons. Okay, very good, guys. Yeah, very good. So number one is good because we're comparing the same product. We're comparing one product in two different countries. So this is a good comparison. Number three is good because we're comparing in the same country. We're comparing two products in one country. So this makes sense. But number two does not make sense. We've got different products and different countries. So what are we comparing? This comparison does not tell us anything. Think carefully about what you are comparing. There must be something common to be comparing correctly. Okay, now let's practice using all of the grammar, all of the vocabulary from this class. I want you to practice writing comparison sentences. So, let's have a look at the first question. How can we compare these things? Meat in Brazil and meat in India. We're looking at meat in Brazil and meat in India. I would like you to type one sentence comparing these things in the chat box, please. Try to use the grammar and vocabulary from our class today. Honor, that's not a sentence. Write a full sentence, please. We're practicing looking at writing for the actual report now. Take your time, write the sentence in the chat box. Okay, I like this one. The consumption of meat is significantly higher where than in India? We've missed something out here. The consumption of meat is significantly higher in Brazil than in India. Now we've got a good comparison. Well done. I like that one. Remember, there must be two things to compare. If you don't say them, we don't know what you're comparing. Okay, let's have a look. This is a nice one as well. I like this one. The consumption of meat in Brazil is about 16 times more than in India. Very nice. We could use more or we could use higher. For consumption, we normally talk about high or low consumption. Okay, very good, guys. Well done. What about question number two? Alcohol in India and alcohol in Brazil. Let's compare these ones, please. Type your sentences in the chat box. Okay, very nice, everybody. Let's have a look. Oh, I like that one. Let's find this one. Okay, I like this one. This is a nice one. This person has used two sentences and however to link them together. In India, the consumption of alcohol is 4.3. 4.3 what? We need to say liters. Remember to check the table. What is the unit of measurement? And it's per person per year. You must be specific. However, it is higher in Brazil, which is 8.7 liters per person per year. Remember to be specific with the units of measurement. Well done. Let's do one more question, everybody. Last question. Coffee in Brazil and coffee in the US. Let's make a final comparison here, everybody. Please type your ideas in the chat box. Oh no, I like it. Now you've written a full sentence. I like it a lot. Very nice. Very nice. Let me borrow your sentence for 1 second. Coffee consumption per capita in the US is half of in Brazil one. Almost a very good sentence. What we need to say here is half of what it is in Brazil. That's a better structure than saying Brazil won. Brazil won is not clear, but very nice sentence. Oh no, I like it a lot. Yeah, very good. Let's look for one more sentence. Good. People are being specific in the chat box now. I like it. Very, very good. Okay, well done, everybody. We don't have time to look at more examples now, but thank you very much for your sentences. You've done really well using the grammar and the vocabulary from today's class. I hope it was helpful for you. That is the end of the class. I'd like to get some feedback from you very quickly about this class. So could you please look at the poll question in Zoom and tell me how useful was this class for you? Thank you very much for your feedback, everybody. It helps us to improve. I appreciate it. While you're doing your feedback, I'm going to show you the website so you can see where to do your practice later today. So on the screen now, everybody, is the British Council IELTS Ready Premium website. To do, if you want to come to more of these classes, on your homepage, you can find the next class here, you can register, and then you can click join when the class starts. If you want to check all of the classes, click on the calendar here. Then you can register for any of the live classes, or you can watch the video class. Watch on demand class will allow you to watch the video class anytime you want. To do more practice on today's topic, you should go to Guided Skills. Click on Guided Skills, and today we talked about writing. It was writing task 1, and we looked at bar charts, tables, and pie charts, so choose this class. Here is the recorded class video for this class today. It's not me, it's a pre-recorded video with a different tutor, but it's the same information. So you can click here to watch the recorded class. Then you can do training on different types of charts and tables and exam practice as well. Everything you need is on this page. If you need help, you can click the chatbot button here and type your question here. For example, if you have a question about capital letters, The chatbot will give you an article to explain when you need to use them and not. Please read the information that the computer gives you. If you don't get the answer you need, then you can put your email address and we will answer as quickly as possible. So for questions, please click here. British Council students can also upgrade for free to a GEL Prep Flex account. Go to this website, click on register and use the middle option here to set up your account with the same login details as your British Council account. If you're not a British Council student, use the left option here to create a PrepFlex account. PrepFlex accounts are very useful because we have extra services that are not available on the British Council website. For example, here on PrepFlex, you can book tutorials with an IELTS teacher. You can mark your speaking mock tests and we can mark your writing mock tests. You cannot do this on the British Council website. So if you want to do these things, please upgrade for free and then buy credits. It costs 1 credit to have your writing marked by an IELTS expert, 1 credit to have your speaking marked by an IELTS expert, and 1 credit to have a tutorial with an IELTS expert. You have to pay for the time of the IELTS expert. If you want to use these services and get feedback, check it out today, everybody, and upgrade to PrepFlex. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. I'm going to share the links for this class, and then I will answer 2 very quick questions before we finish. Okay, everybody, so in the chat box now, you have the link for the GEL website here. You have the schedule for the live classes. You have the Facebook link, and you also have the email address, support@gelielts.com. If you have any questions, message us on the website using the chatbot or send us an email. Okay, let's look at questions very quickly. 2 questions. Let's have a look. 2 times and 2 times are both correct. Yes, Selena, that's right. But normally when we're writing, we don't use the number 2. We write 2 as a word. So TWO 2 times. We don't normally use the number when we're writing paragraphs. We use numbers when we are reporting data from the graph. So if the graph shows us 70 million, we can write 70 million as a number. But when we're saying 2 times, 3 times, this is part of the writing. So we use words. Saroj, yes, it's a very good idea to use the actual numbers when you're comparing. But if you don't know the actual number, remember to use words like roughly or approximately. Because if you don't know, you can't guess. If you do know the exact number, you can use it in your sentences. Yeah. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. I'm sorry, I don't have any more time for questions now. Remember, if you need to ask a question, message us on the website or send us an email. Take care, guys, and I hope to see you in some more classes in the future. My name is Alex, by the way. Take care, everybody. See you. Bye-bye. Cheers.